Welcome back to another video for Primavera P6. My name is Amir Khan. So this video is the continuation from the previous video, and in the previous video we had developed a project with some of the activities and we were working on different baselines. So we had created 3 different baselines which were having some of the changes. So we will continue from that point onwards. Alright, so what we will do next is, as we know, we have different baselines. And due to some reason, let's say you want to view what we had in the previous version of the baseline. Okay, maybe due to some reason you want to see what were the old dates, what were some of the previous planning things that you had in the previous baselines. So in order to view the previous baselines like a normal project, so what we will do is we will have to go to project and then we'll go to maintain baseline, where we can see all the 3 different baselines. Okay, now let's say that due to some reason we want to see what we had in baseline B1, which was 6 months before or 1 year before, depending on the project. So what we can do is, there are 2 options. Either we can use this baseline and put it in the columns. That is a very lengthy work. So the simple thing to do is to select that baseline and we can click on the restore button. Okay, what it will do, if we click on the restore button, it will change this B1 from baseline to a normal project. Because currently, if we just close this window without making any change, if we go to the projects window, so from enterprise, go to the projects screen where you will see the list of all the projects, you will not be able to see that baseline in the project window. B1, B2, B3, they are not like a normal project. They are somewhere else saved as baselines. They are not saved as a normal project. So if we want to view some of the baselines, first we will have to convert them into a normal project and only then we can view all of their details. So again, go back to the project menu and maintain baseline. So we don't need B1 as a baseline, so we'll select B1 and we'll click on restore. Are you sure you want to unlink all of the message here? So we'll just click yes. And then you will see that B1 will be removed from the list of the baselines and it will be added here in the list of the project. So if we close this window, so here we have. So this baseline B1 is now like a normal project. So what we can do is we can close this current project which we are working on. So we can go to file, close all. So it will close all the current projects and we can now only open that B1. So right click on the B1 and open project. And here you have the B1, the very first version of our project, which didn't had any new activity, which had all the old dates. So you can see all of the details and you can see the old relationships, whatever you had in that old version. Even you can see if you had any resources at that time in the project, if you had any expenses, whatever you had, you can see the old version of your project. So this is the old plan for your project. So that is one thing you can do, is you can restore any old baseline like a normal project. Okay, then another important thing you can do is you can also rename. So this is the baseline which we are currently working on. So we'll close this baseline. We just wanted to see how we can convert it to a normal project. So we'll close everything. We'll go back to our project window wherever you have saved the project. So we'll open the project which we were working on before. Now this is the latest version of the project. So if we go back to the maintain baseline option where we had all the baselines, so B1 is no more part of the baseline, so we have B2, B3. So one thing which could be useful as well is you can rename these baselines as well. So you can either rename by dates or version 1, version 2, or any other particular name which will be useful in order to recall any version of the baseline. So let's close this window as well. Okay, another important feature working with the baselines is that you can simultaneously work with multiple baselines. So in order to do that, so we'll work on another small scenario. So here we have the latest version of the plan, and we had a new activity and some of the other activities as well. So what we will do, we'll make some more changes into this project, and let's say due to any reason the project will start a bit late, and we will also add two more activities. So let's add two more activities first. Okay, and we'll call them activity 1 and activity 2. Okay, and we'll give the relationship. So these two activities will be coming after this new activity, so we'll give them the relationship. So we'll select this new activity. Now either you can go to this relationship tab and you can do all that stuff. There is other option is you can directly go to the network diagram and define the relationships, but in one of my previous video I have explained in detail how we can work with the relationships. So the easier way is you select the activity, new activity, and the successor of new activity is the activity 1, and the successor of 1 is activity 2. So simply we have added two more activities, and now we need to give the duration for these two activities as well. So let's keep them same, 5 days for 1 and 5 days for activity 2 as well. And now we need to update the schedule as well, because we have added two more activities with some of the durations. Alright, so let's refresh the schedule. So we'll go to tools, click on schedule. Okay, but this time we have a major delay in the start of the project, so we'll change the data date. Instead of 3rd of August, so let's say it will be 3rd of September. So there is a 1 month delay for any reason, so this is going to be the data date, 3rd of September. And you will see that all of these dates will change as per the new data date. So we'll click on schedule. So here we have activity A, which is the first activity of the project, will start on 3rd of September, will finish on 12th of September, and then so on. All of the next activities will start and finish. So that is what we have in the project. Okay, but this is what we have changed just now, whereas in the baseline you still can see the old dates. Okay, because again we have only changed the schedule, we haven't changed the baseline. So we'll have to repeat the same step. So we'll go to project, maintain baseline. So we'll have to add a new baseline. So we'll just click on the add button, click OK, and here we have B4. Okay, so what we will do now is we'll rename this B4 and we will call it SEPT. So let's say the September baseline. So just to make it simple, so this is the new baseline, and the previous baseline which we are currently using is B3. So we are using B3 and the new baseline is the September baseline. Click close, and then now we need to link that baseline as well. So we'll go back to project, assign baseline. So here we have this B3 and we already are using here B3 as well. Okay, so excuse me, what we will do now is, before we assign the new baseline, let's right click and go to the columns, and let's go to the dates, and we need to add some excuse me, we need to add two more columns for start and finish, and this time that will be B2. So we'll add BL1 start, BL2 start and BL2 finish. Okay, and we'll add both of these columns after BL1. So BL2 start, BL2 finish, and okay. So currently they are blank. Okay, so once we have added BL2, so we have BL1 start, BL1 finish, and we also have BL2 start, BL2 finish. So what is this BL1 and BL2? So if we go to project and assign baseline, so here we are using the primary baseline as B3, Another option we have that is called the secondary baseline, and in the secondary baseline we can use that September baseline, and if we click OK, so you will see all of the dates. So these are the dates which we have in the September baseline. So right now on our screen we can see two different baselines. One is this baseline, which is the old baseline. So again, if we go back to project, assign baseline, so this BL1 start and BL1 finish is coming from this B3, okay, which is the old baseline, and from here as well. Okay. Then BL2 start and finish are coming from this secondary baselines. Okay. So due to any reason, you may want to view both of the baselines just to compare any dates or just to compare the differences. Or maybe you have two different baselines. One you are using for your internal team, the other baseline you want to use for the customer point of view, or to just show to the senior management. So again, you can have different baselines and you can show all of the baselines at the same time as part of your project. Similarly, you can have the third baseline as well. So later on, if you create another baseline, that will include maybe the expenses as well, or that will include some of the resources as well. So you can just name it anything, and on the window that will be termed as B3. So BL3 start, BL3 finish. Similarly, in the cost and in the resources, you can have the BL1, BL2 as well. So that is how you can have multiple baselines to be displayed for the same project. And once you will start the execution later on, so for example, later on you want to start the execution of the project, so you will select activity A, and from the status tab you'll just select that on which date the activity A actually started, and you will have to check that it is actually started. And then once it is actually finished, so you'll have to check this finish button, and you will have to select the actual finish date as well. Okay. But again, the execution part I have already done in one of my previous video, so you can watch that video to get more idea that how to do the execution of the project. So the purpose of this video was to simply display that how to work with multiple baselines. I hope you will like this video. Subscribe to my channel and share this video with your colleagues, with your friends.